we all have different types of stresses in our life, and some stress is good stress. The stress that gets us stepping out of our comfort zone and doing something new, that's a really positive stress. And, there are stresses around positive events like, weddings or births of babies or travel, etc. But there's also that chronic stress, that stress that has us feeling a little bit weighed down, the stress of, looming deadlines at work and every day fighting the kids to get out the door to get to school, or maybe an underlying stress of, a kind of, brewing argument with your spouse that neither of you are really addressing, you're both avoiding, but that stress is there. Or it could be stress on the body of fighting a virus or healing. All these stresses stack on top of each other and have us get stuck in this state of fight or flight. And fight or flight, if we go back to our hunter-gatherer days, is designed to keep us safe, right? If we were hunting for food and we had a lion that was going to attack us, the body would respond to get us to safety. The brain is charged with keeping us safe, so it would produce cortisol and adrenaline and send that to our limbs and shut down digestion and shut down procreation, because in that moment, we don't care about either of those. We just have to get to safety. And then when we get to safety, the body naturally drops into our rest and digest state so that we can calm again. The problem is in our modern day life is the brain doesn't know the difference between the risk of being eaten by a lion and the buildup of stresses of fighting your kids to get them out the door, getting in the car and heading to a meeting and getting stuck in traffic. And now you're going to be late and your boss calling you and adding one more thing to your to-do list when you already feel like your to-do list is full enough. The brain can't tell the difference. And so now you're in that state where it's pushing cortisol out into your body, pushing adrenaline out into your body, shutting down digestion, shutting down procreation. And when we're in that state constantly, our hormones are getting out of balance. And what happens is so common today is for women to end up in an estrogen dominant state. And what that means is relative to progesterone, the body is producing too much estrogen. And the reason that happens is when we're in that chronic stress state and the body needs to produce more cortisol to get you to safety, it stops producing progesterone because they're along the same pathway. And it bypasses progesterone production in order to increase cortisol production. So the body continues making estrogen, but stops making progesterone. We get into this state of estrogen dominance, which triggers all sorts of symptoms. And in younger women, it can definitely result in infertility issues. And we have a lot of infertility issues in our world today. But left unchecked, it's a known cause of breast cancer. And the body is giving out symptoms in between to get us to, do something different. But again, there's symptoms that we may not slow down enough to recognize. And so when we get into this state of being out of balance, we're not feeling great. And we don't know why, because we haven't been taught this. And that's one of my frustrations is this information is not made readily available to the public. And particularly when we talk about perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause, there isn't a venue for teaching this to women through public health the way we are able to teach young girls about puberty. And so many women are struggling through not knowing what is considered normal for this change in our body and suffering with symptoms because they don't realize their body is out of balance and that we can bring it back into balance to mitigate those symptoms.